Hello. Today I thought I would do our reading with the coin method and demonstrate a little bit about how I use the coin method, the way that I read it. I'm going to go ahead and call to our ancestors, guides, guardians, and the spirits of the elements to bring us a message today for our viewers, for you who have found this video. I know you have a question in your heart, and I'm hoping that um, you can see a path forward, a way to prepare your soul to meet that question through this reading today. Um, I'm going to use Chinese coins. So these are, this is the heads of the coin and this is the tails. And we're going to throw it in order to get 6 lines. So this first one is 2 tails and 1 heads, which the way I read that is a broken line that is not changing. Tails represents broken or the yin energy, and it's stable or not changing when it's balanced by one of the heads or yang energy. And I'm going to put that at the bottom, which is going to look like the top to you. But for me, it's the bottom, and I'll flip that over for you later. Okay, here we have 2 heads and 1 tails, which same principle of the other way. This is a solid line that is stable. It is not changing because it has the balance of the yin energy. 2 tails on this one and 1 heads. I don't know if you can see that. This brings us to our first element in our reading, which is the moon element. Broken, solid, broken. And so in relation to the question you're holding in your heart, watchers, viewers, think about the moon. What does the moon mean in your situation? How might that be a contributing influence? The moon is the celestial water element. It's often represented by a pit or the abyss, a dried up lake bed. Sometimes it's a well. And sometimes it's really just the moon and all its attributes that I consider pretty typical in Western, which is sort of that subconscious, the deep, deep qualities of water. Um, it's an ocean instead of a lake. It's um, it's a stormy ocean sometimes. So we're talking those influences in our subconscious that are so deep we don't really know about them. We're fully aware of them, and we act on them without thought sometimes. Um, this is 2 heads and 1 tails, so we haven't had any changing lines yet. That's going to be another solid line. 2 tails and 1 heads, which is another broken line. 2 tails and 1 heads, which is another broken line. We do not have any changing lines in this reading today. This brings us fire over the moon. And so fire over the moon is 40. I believe this is shooting. Yes, it is shooting. Okay. So shooting here is that pursuit of freedom. It is the Revolutionary War. I'm going to read my card for you, but you'll see fire over moon. We don't have any changing lines, which means this is a force that is very strong and prominent and stable. Like it's not going anywhere, or you just finished a transformation that has placed you here potentially. Um, and we want to get a sense of the essence of this rather than that transition sort of changing quality. Forgive, forget, and bear no grudge so as to free space for new growth. The tension of the storm is broken, and we are liberated from the danger it posed. Go forward if you have cause to go forward. Turn back if you have cause to turn back. Resume as you were if you have cause to stay. Whatever you do, do not hesitate to do so in this moment. Okay, I'm going to read you also the advice to the superior individual in the case of hexagram 40. When it's not changing, I feel like those are the moments when that advice just sort of rings the clearest for me. Um, the Junzi pardons inadvertent transgressors and extenuates, um, forgives faults and pardons crimes, forgiving in excess to pardon offenses, forgives errors and pardons criminals. These are just different translations. I'm reading from James DeCorn's site. Deals leniently with the crime. This is ringing true here for you, that you have been in a situation where you were desperately fighting for your own freedom, your own liberation from an oppression. And in that war for your freedom, there were harms that you caused, and there are harms that others caused you. I mean, there were harms that were caused to you that put you into this place of fighting to begin with. Um, and that, there's always casualties in warfare. Not all of them are avoidable. Um, some of them are. And the important thing in order to move forward in this case is forgiveness of yourself for what you have done that may have hurt others, and forgiveness for others, for those others who are hurting you or who have hurt you, is the path forward at this point in time. That's where you are. Going to read just a little bit more here. This is this hexagram is often considered a kind of point of climax, the hero's journey, right? This is that point where you really, really were able to break free from something and sort of detach from that. And now you have this sort of liberated self. And this liberated self is aware in ways that you weren't aware before. You're able to see and feel and understand things that you couldn't understand before you made that battle, before you fought that battle. Um, I, the battle was necessary in order to cure and suffering that was happening prior to that, in order to um, relieve sorrow and that you were bound to. You were absolutely bound to, probably for years. I'm guessing for you that this was something that was sorrowful for a very long time. And let's see here. Sorry. You should expect vigor and creativity to begin flowing at this point. This release of tension that has been the shooting for your freedom has opened the avenue for you. You should feel those creative energies and new vigor or new life, new motivation to go and do and plant seeds for new things. Like that should be something you're feeling really strongly right now in this situation, and that you should cultivate for yourself. Um, Very soon, you will probably be moving into kind of a new social group or social structure as a result of what you've left behind and what you're planting seeds for. Let yourself be led into new groups and new arrangements. It may be a little anxiety inducing, but that is an important next step in your particular growth. Um, there's going to be a need for reorganizing, creating rhythms and structures and systems. You're starting from a new slate in a way. So, really consciously and intentionally consider how those systems that you're creating in this new place, this new path, this new order, how those systems will be nourishing. Really pay attention to creating something that nourishes yourself and your new um, family in a way. It's it's important in this kind of new ground to do that. It the routine should be a gentle entering, nothing forced, just sort of a maintaining a very gentle new routine is important for that intentionality to sort of set in and feel nurturing rather than aggressive and shocking, right? There can be a culture shock aspect to this kind of place that you're in right now. And I just like to return to this idea of forgiveness. That's going to be the key in moving forward is setting yourself into a place of forgiveness and nurturing for yourself. Don't forget to apply that to yourself. And I think that's what this has for us today. There's other things we could look at with this that I think, when we don't have a changing line, I start kind of grasping for where's the meat of the reading because it can feel very simple and plain. And sometimes that's important to just hold on to this as it's okay for it to be a simple message, a very clear message. I think that's the intention of the ancestors sometimes when they give us one hexagram with no changing lines, they're like, this needs to be very clear. And if there's anything you take away from this, it needs to be that advice to forgive. Um, but one thing we can look at, and I'm just going to throw that out here, is the nuclear. So these three lines here and these three lines here take us to this nuclear hexagram, which is the moon over the sun. And the moon over the sun is 63. And that is the next to last in all of the I Ching after ending. That's sort of the fox safely made it across the river, and he just needs a minute to rest. But it's important to remember that even though your task has been safely accomplished, your work is never over. And so there is this moment of good fortune right now. Um, it, and it's wise to kind of conserve the energy that is in this moment before. And whenever I get this one as a nuclear, I think 63 and 64 go together. They are so um, intertwined with one another. Um, and this is the moment just before completion. So just remembering that at the heart of this fight for your liberation here, this nuclear, which is sort of the hidden inside hexagram, that is the root or seed within this, it is that cyclical energy of your fight for your freedom doesn't end with one great climax. The hero's journey seems linear, but it's not. It's a spiral, right? And the battle that you fought for your freedom that you just completed is still there's still a lot within you, a lot of work doing um, with to do within yourself to keep that freedom, to maintain it, to uh, to keep it alive, right? You have to continuously nurture it, and so um, keep that in mind as well. And that's what I have for you today.